and have not gone themselves checked.
And it's all you care about is money. You said you would sell your soul to the devil in violation of your Christian values for money.
Yeah.
Why should we ever think that you're sane again? That's insane. You literally said, here's my virtues, and I will absolutely sell those virtues to Satan himself if there's enough money. And yet the cuck next to you says that you guys don't worship money. You clearly worship money. How could you not worship it?
How dare you call me a cuck?
I sell mine for $10.
A 10. Oh, 10 off.
I think those are the doors.
Yeah.
Undercover.
Okay, but like going back.
Hold on. No, that's
Yeah.
You want to be undercover? Hey.
Well, you said that we're good at debate techniques, aka manipulation techniques.
Oh, yeah, a lot of debate is just a form of manipulation. Like, it's not about winning the debate, it's about controlling the conversation. Whoever's in control.
Just trying to make it
there's a lot of
nice.
people that aren't used to
Is that
debate
about winning or losing?
tactics. So
Just
they're
take the money,
quiet
you know.
and,
Just take
they
money.
get confused easily, and they are more agreeable in those situations. And it's not constructive to actually coming to solutions in society. It's more like who's the winner, who's the loser, and it just kind of, when you say that there's birth rate problems and
I don't know
hatred, well, he does.
Okay.
It's kind of not
Wait,
constructive.
hatred? Sorry, finish the hatred of.
What do you mean it's kind of not
there's
destructive?
more hatred on both
They're
sides.
just
the sexes,
moving their mouths.
comments,
Yeah.
and people. If you want a society to work, we should come to solutions instead of having
That's kind of brainless
loathe
talk.
this type of
Yeah.
ideology.
Right.
You know it's brainless when there's a lot
I
of.
have more respect for the Marxist feminist over there next to you. Here's actually why.
yeah, okay.
Because she picks a side.
Manly, yeah, manly.
We're going
Okay,
here. We went
here's the
around
thing, right? It's like
Liverpool,
Hang on,
Rockdale
okay.
City.
so if
and now
you're
we're
a knight
going
on
back.
the battlefield and you're going out to battle,
Yeah.
right? And in the modernity,
Always.
the battle is the
Always.
info war. And debate
The what? Sorry,
is the
info war?
information war.
Okay.
That is the battle in modernity. And the tool that we have, one of the primary weapons we have, is debate and discourse. People are
Yeah,
going to
cool.
be good at it. They're going to be bad at it. I agree with that portion of it, right?
Yeah, you're a good
But
master
the worst
reader.
the worst part is when people refuse to pick a side of it.
Oh, I mean,
Hang on,
cool.
hang on,
Okay.
hang on, almost done.
Hey, too
It's
fast.
when they
Look
refuse
at
to
that.
pick a side of it, right?
Holy shit.
At least I know her side.
Fast
and at
driver.
least she knows my
Yeah.
side. So at least when we go to the battlefield,
shit.
right, and we're duking
And
it
he's
out,
coming from up hill.
we understand
deck
what
driver.
the hell it
Bus
is we're
driver's
fighting
going
for. You,
too
like the
fast.
position that
And
you
from-
have
from-
of the
and
perceived
from up hill.
neutrality,
Yeah.
right?
Up hill and then
I'm not that
down.
neutral.
Wow.
Yeah,
First
but
of
so
all.
that's the
It's
thing,
crazy.
right? Is that I don't think you're neutral. I think, though, that you're trying to frame this as though you're
No,
neutral.
I'm not neutral.
Well, I'm
I'm
not
not
Democrat.
I'm
I'm not blaming you for
no,
this.
I'm
not,
here
yeah,
for a
so on.
solution. I'm libertarian. I'm here for solutions. Not just fighting against each other and
How are you
making
going
us
to have
hate
a
each
solution
other.
with people who disagree with libertarianism? The Marxist feminist does, and I do.
I'm coming. I don't
What do
care.
you want?
I want a solution to the problem instead of fighting against each other all the time.
Oh, she
He's
seems like a nice
independent, just
person.
curious.
Yeah,
What's that?
I'm more
That
independent.
he's independent since he had
Yeah,
a
right, and then-
I was
uh,
that
And
was
then
like
asking for
obviously
paternity
joking.
and-
I
what
don't
do you
know
call
if you
it?
picked that up or
Yeah.
not. But that's
Allowance.
why he was laughing.
What do you call it?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That
so
government-
I was like,
That's why I'm
Allowance,
here.
whatever.
that
is-
was obvious. That was like obviously me joking.
That's the
but anyway,
solution.
Yeah, why I'm here is like we're all repulsed from each other, and what your show is doing is making
Hi,
us more
this
repulsed from each other.
silence.
What is it actually doing to help society?
Sure. Well, I'll answer that in a couple of ways. So,
Okay.
but before I do, don't want to quite let you get away with this. So you said we're good at debate techniques, aka manipulation techniques.
I
Can you-
explained that. Why
Well,
I say it's manipulation.
Yeah, give me a precise example of like a scenario in which either tonight or like a previous show I've hold on, let me
Not
finish.
you, it's him.
Stop.
Yeah, okay.
Let me finish.
it's me.
Let me get my words
Sorry,
out.
sorry.
Can you present either tonight or previous episode a manipulation technique I've employed? Go ahead.
Oh, it's not you. It's him. Yeah, I don't have that many problems with you. You're nice.
Oh.
You said
I never
nice.
said I had
Okay,
a
well,
problem
I'll
with
come
you.
back to that and you guys can have that conversation then. I'll get to
It's
it.
not you.
But you have an issue with the show, so I'll address that one. You said that, let's see here, you wrote, well, I'll come through a couple things. You said that we bring on young women with no education to debate on
Yeah.
things they know nothing about.
Yeah, like OnlyFans girls and stuff.
Yeah, well, so let
Very
me
small percentage.
So let me
The OnlyFans girls?
Hold on. So, I'd like to address the multiple false claims here. When you say young woman, give me an age.
Like early 20s.
That's a okay.
I'm
That's,
37, so I would call that like young.
so what do you think is like the appropriate age where you're allowed to have like a conversation with
Oh,
somebody?
you can have a conversation any age. I'm just saying if you mostly get people who are not educated and like get their views off of TikTok, then you're not going to get a
Hang
realistic.
on. I just want to
like-
point something out.
Yeah.
How old are you?
23.
And what's your education level?
Bachelor's.
Anything else?
No, I'm talking about social media influence.
I don't know. I don't get it. No, wait. I really don't get it. 23 years old.
You're
Bachelor's
41.
degree. I have no
Okay.
bachelor's degree.
I
Hang
mean,
on,
education
I
in
have
real
I don't
world.
have any bachelor's degree.
I'm not talking about like
Fucking
going to college. I'm
bachelor's
talking
degree.
about just real world experience.
Yeah. So
That's
well,
what
these
I'm
people
talking
can
about.
vote.
Yeah, maybe I
They
don't
can
agree.
vote.
I think we should raise that. I think we should raise the age of
what?
alcohol.
Okay.
25.
So look, I'll just address
Oh,
the
yeah.
multiple false claims.
Yeah.
You said that we bring on young.
Their opinions.
Let's be honest.
Okay, you said that we bring on young women with no education. I'll just explore the young woman part. So we keep statistics on our guests. The average age of the guests on our show are 26.
Cool. That's good. I just mean
Okay,
education.
but
What happened?
on-
We're not just bringing in like
Yeah.
Guess
older
what?
than me. We've had on women in their 40s, 50s, and
Are
60s.
Are you talking about mean or like
Consistently.
average?
No, she's
Usually
on
there's
drugs.
panels
She's on
with-
drugs.
Most
Yeah.
panels are pretty
Medium.
mixed, where you have an older and younger
It's always funny
demographic.
when I shot a most
even right now,
I
even right
just-
now, we do.
I
I'm
just-
closer in age to
I
you
don't
two
want y'all to
than I am
take what I
them,
say
right?
and use it like I mean. What I do mean is that people in the younger generation are influenced by social media and they don't really have that much real life experience, and that makes it an issue that with fake media it goes on both sides. I mean fake news, it goes on both sides and people don't really know what's actually going on.
So
in the
wait,
world.
what you're saying is that young people
I'm not yeah.
tie in to social media in order to inform their worldview, and we're on social media assisting and informing their worldview. Why would this be a problem?
I mean, all of it's delusional. Like I said, both sides,
Street food,
Democrat
please.
and
Street.
Republican, it's become a huge issue. But young
Just
people are
7-Eleven.
more susceptible to
Democrats
like,
are not
Macca's.
delusional, and Republicans are
And
not
kebabs.
delusional.
there are delusion
there-
and a lot
it's
of
true
it
that there's
because of
people
fake
who hold
news and all of
delusions,
that.
and there's creators who hold
Yeah.
delusions and
We're in
things like
tight
this,
space.
right?
Yeah, I know
You
this.
have
How you
opposition
think I feel?
ideologies, which people do
Fuck,
come
that
to
man
through
was it.
reasoned discourse in their own in-group, and they're not always unreasonable ideologies.
I'm
It
not
is
saying
true.
that.
It is true that
I'm
they
not saying that. I'm just saying
hang
people
on,
are
hang on,
heavily
hang
influenced.
on. They do need to be
Hang on.
combated
Hang
from my
on.
view, right? And from her view. Like, let's take Kinsey, for instance. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to combat ideologies which she considers to be counterproductive to the society she wants to see. Same thing with me. Trying to combat ideologies which are counterproductive to the society that I want to see. If the venue that we do this in is social media, you're saying that that's where young people go, right?
Yeah.
Why in the world is that not exactly where we would be in order to produce the ideology we want to see for the world?
Because it's always left or right. When you view one side, you only view that side and you don't view the other side. And then
If only there was a show
and-
that
no,
had
listen,
conservative Christians and Marxist feminists
no,
debating.
Listen, I'm not.
Sure, could we find a
I
show
am
like
not
that?
finished.
Andrew,
I'm not
Andrew,
finished.
go ahead.
I'm not
Very good debater. I need to watch
See,
him more.
like
Yeah.
I completely lost what I was saying because you interrupted me.
One of my
So
favorite
what
debates
the
was
last
when he
thing that
was,
you said?
You
with
were
that
saying that
Wes Watson
essentially
Wow.
you don't present the other
Oh.
side.
What,
And
he-
so I was just
I
saying.
don't
Andrew
think there should
debated-
be two sides.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there shouldn't be two sides. First of all, I don't believe in
I
a
just saw
two-party
Wes Watson
system,
got in jail or
and
something.
that's where my
Yeah.
opinion comes from.
I used to
is
look up to Wes
I don't
Watson,
think
but then
there
I just
should
seen
be
getting
one-
exposed,
one's right, one's wrong.
So, I'd like to bring it back to the
You
actual
keep getting angry,
criticism,
man.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
that you bring on young women with no education. So, I've already provided
better than
statistics that we keep pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
The average age of our guests
I would
is
say
26.
only
Wait, hold on.
fangirls
You
aren't
just
really
criticized him for
educated.
interrupting you.
Oh, I'm
I've asked you to let me finish. It's okay. Just
I'm sorry.
let me finish.
Yeah.
All right. I tend to be fairly quick. So
I'm sorry.
you said that we bring on young women with no education, whether they're older or young. We do bring women on with education.
down a bit.
There are women here who are educated. We've had on PhDs. We have on a PhD, or I guess doctorate. I don't know if it's still called a PhD in nursing, or is it just, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
In any case, we've brought on women who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. We've
agree.
also bring on women who have dropped out of college. Here's the thing though, just like me, because I don't have some advanced degree in sociology or politics or philosophy or any of this stuff. I'm a college dropout.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would actually, can you actually state
No.
what would be wrong with me as a college dropout talking to somebody else who's a college dropout? What would actually be wrong with that?
Oh, I'm not talking about that. When I say uneducated, I mean people with no
Oh,
life
one of
experience.
your favorite
Everybody
restaurant.
has a life experience.
Which one?
in North
if
Sydney.
you're talking to only
Which one?
fangirls who
I remember.
show their boobs online, have never
Don't-
had
don't-
a job,
don't say you
and
forget.
don't know anything
I forget.
about
I mean, no, I did,
politics,
I
then
didn't.
I would call them uneducated.
Your assumption is that OnlyFans girls are 21.
18 to 50. I'm not saying it's just an age thing.
Are we
Listen,
discussing-
the majority
Are we
of
discussing
the girls on here that are on this side of the table are not
No
the
girl here does
conservative
OnlyFans.
side of the table.
Not single.
Hey, Lulu,
Lulu.
this is where,
That's great.
this was where I did my first
No,
security
that's
job.
great.
Doesn't have OnlyFans.
I just mean the majority when
I'm
you
still sleeping.
have
It's
these.
not the majority.
the-
15%.
That's where I did my first security.
I was gonna say,
What?
guess how many
It's
of my
still
guests
sleeping.
do OnlyFans?
Oh, that's
Oh,
the
you said
mall
50%,
shopping mall.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's where I did it.
That's
Yeah.
more than the average population
Well, hang on.
of OnlyFans.
We're looking at the potential that in the next 10 years, 1 in 10 Zoomer women do
That
OnlyFans.
sucks. It shouldn't
50,
be.
Wait, what? 1 in 10?
10% in that
What the
demographic.
fuck?
It is a slight
kinda-
representation.
Yeah, it's kind of big, yeah. Because you have to
Whenever people say
filter out
silly
the-
things like,
the
I
mentally
feel
ill
sorry
too.
for your wife and kids,
and
I always
low
say,
quality, whatever,
"You're happy to
stinky.
come on and,
So
you know, say hello
yeah, so that's
and,
kind of not
you know,
good.
Just field any questions you guys might have about what it's like to be married to a based Giga Chad like Andrew.
Basically, good shit.
Got anything to say? Here I am.
He's a Giga Chad.
I'll go first
Nobody?
then. How do you
Okay.
feel with your husband like making these comments like on
What
live as
comment?
well? Well, just like saying rude things to women or like screaming over them. Like, how do you feel with that?
I feel good.
Well, he doesn't say rude things to women until they say something rude to him first. So, Bangs was the first one to say, he's got wrinkles and he's old and he's got gray hair and
Okay.
he's broke. So, of course, he's going to say something back. And they've had exchanges back and forth before. And she's plenty happy to be rude and say mean things to him first. Everyone thinks that's okay because she's a woman. But if Andrew
Yeah.
just simply gives her a taste of her
Hey,
own medicine back,
double dick.
you all go,
Double dick.
can you believe he said that? It's
I never realized
why?
how many
Why is it fine
speedways
for her
there
to
are.
insult him, but it's
Hmm.
uncalled for when he just simply gives
It's
it
good
back.
value
What's
petrol.
wrong with that?
Also, last time I was on here, he said that I wasn't a 10 because I had small boobies. And I didn't do anything. I just said
That's
I
why
was
you're
10.
not a 10.
I have a question for you
Never.
too. He said that you're getting worse with age. How do you feel about that?
Well, I've been on the show myself, and I'm 44 years old. I've had 5 kids. So, no, I'm not as hot as I was when I was 22. Like, this is a fact of life that all women have to deal with. The time of your life that you're hot it's like short and it's limited. You're not going to always be a hot chick. So, you can't expect that part of your life
Gotta
to
buy
last
something
forever.
from the city and then
I mean, it's just a fact
what?
of life that we all
that milk
get less
that I
attractive
brought
as we
last
age.
time.
Doesn't mean he's
Are you
not attractive
serious,
to me or I'm
bro?
not attracted to him, but I'm not as hot as
Are
I
you
was
gonna
when I
die
was
if you
22.
don't have
In fact,
it?
when I was on the show,
Little bit, yeah.
I rated myself a 5.
Nah, you'll
And
survive.
everybody always gets upset with Andrew because he rates me a 6. And I'm like, I think he's giving me just a hair more than I deserve, but I'm a normal, regular, 44-year-old Midwestern mom of 5. You want me to come on here and say I'm a 10? Do I look like Pamela Anderson? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, just be realistic. You guys get upset with him because he tries to give you a little tiny dose of reality, and he doesn't blow a bunch of smoke
Well,
up your
that's
ass.
it.
But he's
I'm gonna
never
park
rude
the
or
car.
mean unless you do
You're
it to
gonna
me
get up
first.
and get it, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me an example?
I just gave you one.
Well, you had an attitude. So you were
Oh,
being kind of like how you did earlier, where you're like, I'm gonna dominate a man and I'm gonna live.
No,
So if
but
you come
when
with
I
a
told-
sassy attitude and then call yourself a 10 when you're clearly objectively
Okay,
not
but
a 10.
I can have a
Well, you're
disrespect.
not.
That was just my personality. But when I said it was like that
Oh, this
comment,
is
like,
why I
where it's
make
like,
my
when
way
the
home.
person said rate yourself 1 through
way
10,
how I
I
get
literally
home.
when it was my turn I said 10, and then I was like, do you want me to stand up? You know, because I wanted him to rate me, and then he gave me an 8. But then he was like, he had Andrew rate me. He said like a 3. Or he's like, she's not a 10. She has no boobies.
Doesn't that make you uncomfortable?
I was like, what? Like I didn't do anything. I just rated myself. Like,
Isn't that weird
this
that
is-
your man is looking at her chest? Isn't that weird?
She stood up and asked to have her body evaluated.
No.
What do you call it? Guilt trip.
No, I said I wasn't asking for him. By the time I asked him, he wanted what's his name?
Andrew.
So, just a second here.
Brian?
You said you were a 10. Andrew said, no, you're not a 10. And he had to explain why. So that was the reason he gave. That's his opinion. No, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. It doesn't bother me.
But it was so unnecessary. That's why I'm saying that he is mean when there's no reason to be mean. Like that was like I was
Don't
like,
be mean.
oh, okay.
Don't be
yeah,
mean.
His comment was so
I
unnecessary.
watch every episode. You were no little angel. You were not some sweet, nice girl.
I
who
am
was
not
just
an angel.
crying.
I'm not. I never said that.
Right. So you had attitude. You had sass. You.
Yeah, but never. Yeah.
Andrew
like
trained
the-
her well.
And
He's
that
a
He
good
said
woman.
small boobs. Then you have small boobs. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm
like
sorry
the
that
comment wasn't
this
necessary.
didn't-
The comment wasn't necessary.
We're just asking for how you feel about your grown-ass husband saying that stuff.
First of all,
Yeah.
don't ever say grown ass man. It's ghetto. Just
I don't give a fuck.
No.
try reading some books.
You know what ghetto is?
maybe. All of you've been to all this college, and I'm like, where's all the college
I think
education? All these college education. You're all
in Australia
college,
version's
and you
junkie,
can't
eh?
put two, you know, you're not
Version is
even
junkie.
You're not even
Yeah.
using the word
Ghetto.
ghetto right. So
You have like no
He's a grown
backbone.
ass. He's not a grown ass.
But saying those words does not make her ghetto.
You have
Like,
no
you know
Okay,
backbone.
what
slow
ghetto
down a
is?
bit.
Thing to say.
Yeah.
I think there's a park here.
It's called saying the word ghetto.
So as we go, I think there's a park that way. I used to
Crazy.
sleep.
I feel bad for you
Okay.
because
Going
you're
in.
22 and you're on OnlyFans and you've already hit your peak. And you're plenty happy to be rude. You have been so rude on this show, Bangs. Don't sit here and gaslight this whole audience. We've all seen you on here, multiple appearances. You are rude and nasty as you can be. And then you do
God, they're
this.
literally perfect for each other.
That gets the views. Why do you think I keep getting invited back?
Oh,
Why
well,
do you
we
think I
can't
keep
find
getting
it.
invited
Dude,
back?
she's literally
I'm the every time I'm on here, I am the title. I am the title every time,
Hollering, I
lady.
can't hear them. When
Okay.
you both start clucking,
No, I said that it's like I just complimented. Like you guys are literally the perfect couple. Like I see why he's attracted to you. Like yes, you guys are a perfect couple. Definitely.
listen, I think it's mean. I think it's actually the cruel thing to do to let young women have free license to act terrible, to be entitled, to be rude, to think that they owe everything handed to them on a silver platter because they push their boobs
Platter.
up, to act like this short phase of life when you're at your peak fertility is going to last forever. That is what's mean. Because what happens
I'm sorry,
is,
you can't live that anymore, and we're going through it. Like what?
See, this is the thing though. I never did that.
It's
I didn't do this thing where I was just like.
It's giving
promiscuous
old and
all
mad.
through my 20s and 30s.
It's giving-
Are you gonna
What?
let me talk or what?
It's giving old
So
and
I didn't
mad.
do this thing. I'd never did dance. I didn't sell pornography. I didn't go through a party phase. I was a mom when I was 20 years old. I only ever wanted to be in long-term committed relationships. I was hoping I would just get married and that would be it. I did get divorced. Wasn't my fault. Wasn't anything that could be done about it. Lesson learned. Didn't repeat that. But what I'm telling you is the mean thing is the whole world telling you that you guys are strong, independent women where you're gonna cry because your hair straightener stopped working on your
Not so
birthday.
much on me. You said that you were being, or your man was only being rude to people who were being rude. I haven't been rude. So I don't feel like you should come for me.
Did you say confront you?
Come for me.
Come for you. I'm not coming for you. I'm saying it's absurd for you to believe that it's like normal behavior to cry because you're straight iron broke or cry on every birthday. Like, young women live in such delusion nowadays. That's why everything's all messed up. That's why everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. You guys are not acting like the grown, strong, independent, equal with men, women that you claim to be. And when I just come on here and say, look, this behavior is ridiculous, this is silly and absurd, you can't even take it. You can't take the slightest bit of just like obvious criticism.
Weak.
I'm not calling you names. I'm not swearing at you.
Weak.
Or anything like that. I'm just saying, you guys were like, well,
This
we want to
lady
know how you
puts
feel
it
about this, and your husband is rude, and we don't like
perfectly.
It's like, okay, I'm
He
trying
trained
to
her well.
explain
He trained her well.
Okay,
I'm
can
trying
I?
to explain to you that this princess fantasy world that you live
She's
in,
a 4 out of 10, but
does need to be-
she's
somebody
extremely
needs to break
Okay.
that down
smart.
for you, 'cause that's not
Yeah,
real.
she's an old lady.
Can I ask you a genuine
She's had
question?
5 kids.
Yes.
What do you expect?
How long have you been with Andrew? Like or like in a like dating and married? I would say like in a romantic.
17 years.
Okay, 17 years. So that's a long time. You guys seem like a relatively happy couple right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys had to have some sort of like emotional connection, right? To like make your whole relationship last 17 years. Can you tell me
Yeah,
like
of course.
how you
No
guys do
connection.
that? Because he made a remark
Emotional
earlier
connection.
about
That sound
women
like
in
Fitz.
not liking like men not
Like-
being vulnerable because women will use
This
that
Fitz
against
talking style.
them. And so like he was saying
Like-
men shouldn't
like-
really show
I want
like
things
a
to
lot
be
of
fair.
emotions. And I'm genuinely curious if you've been with him for 17 years, like
I
how
can't
do
get
you
over
guys
it.
keep that? Because I'm
That
sure
he
you guys get into
fucking
fights too. You guys are
Ate another
human.
person's food.
Yeah.
Early
Lucky I
on,
recorded
we
for
got
you.
into more fights because I still look. We all
Trust
would
me,
be
if you told me, I
girls,
would have
and me
believed you
included,
if
okay?
I
I'm not.
recorded.
I wasn't like born a great wife. I don't think great wives
Like-
are born. I think they're
Okay,
made.
well, I gave
Like,
him
it's
just
something
one
you have
word,
to-
like,
it's like
you
anything
grew
else.
up.
It's a skill you have to learn.
You
and you have to
grew
work
up.
on.
Grub.
So
You're
early
grown.
on,
Yeah.
yeah, I had some attitude
What did he
issues
say?
here and there. Not,
No, it's just
probably
in my
not
head,
to the
like-
extent that
Oh,
some women
okay.
do, but I would do stupid shit like.
What did
if
he say?
gave
He's like,
me,
you know
a
what?
little
I'm
bit
gonna,
of,
like eat that
you know,
food.
stern. If he would say, no, we're not going to do
I
that,
think so,
but
yeah,
get
like,
like
I don't
pouty and
remember,
like
but-
throw a remote control at him
But
or
I-
something.
but he's-
and he'd be like,
I think he said, like-
excuse me. If you're gonna
I don't know,
throw
maybe I
stuff at
started
me,
it, but
I'm
I don't know.
not gonna be with you. Like, if that's how you're gonna
What do you
behave, I'll
mean?
just
Did he
walk
say
out.
as a
He
joke
wouldn't
or
get
something?
angry
Yeah,
or
like,
yell at
that's-
me. He
he's
was
got some
just
food
like,
left. Like,
I'm
okay,
not gonna tolerate
should
that.
you try it?
And at first, I would be like,
I'm like, okay, gotta sit.
Ah.
And anything in my head, like, I gotta
how
get
could-
go
and then I
in
thought
my
about it,
camera
and I
as
went,
fast
wait.
as possible. And
do I want to be the
And
chick
Senator
that
Thomas.
throws stuff at my man? Like, because he said
Oh,
something
at least he finally
that
woken
like,
up.
just hit me wrong in the ear, right?
sacrifice have to be made, man.
I learned that
Sacrifice had to be
Andrew's a man
made.
who has boundaries, and he doesn't ever need
We
to
can't
be
be
like,
around
loud
people
with
that
me
are, you
or
know-
rude with me to enforce them. He's just
You know
firm.
what? It's a waste
He's
of
just-
time.
And he'll just be like, no, I'm just not going to accept that. So as time went on, of course we got closer and, we share things, we share life experiences. And he'll tell me how he feels about things to a certain extent. But what he doesn't do is talk to me like I'm one of his girlfriends, right? He doesn't come home from work and be like, it was just such a tough day at work and this guy said something to me and it really made me feel unappreciated. And like, he doesn't dump like all of his emotional stuff on me. He has guy friends for that. He has a dad he can talk to if he's got like man stuff to talk about. We talk about what's pertinent and we're super close. Like anybody who watches the show probably already knows that he and I are like inseparable, super close best friends, but it's still like a male-female relationship. I don't expect him to act like one of my girlfriends. And I think a lot of young women especially, they want their boyfriend to act like one of their girlfriends would. And you shouldn't expect that from a man because here's why. If he actually did that, you wouldn't like it. If your boyfriend wanted to cry in your arms all the time when he had a bad day at work, you would very quickly be like, you'd be dry as the Sahara, right? It would just not be a turn on for you. So I think when you're young, you think you want that stuff from a man, but you really don't. So yeah, we're super close, but he doesn't have to like pour out his emotions to me all the time. He does when he wants to and when he feels like that's something he wants to do. The rest
And
of the time, I respect it if he doesn't want to do that.
Okay, and like, do you kind of, you guys are 17 years in, do you know like his like childhood, the way he grew up, and does that help you like understand him a lot better on why he acts the way he acts in certain situations because you know his like background?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's because, you know, you get to know their family, you hear stories, you know, like, of course I know his parents and his siblings, and so I've heard stories about him growing up, he'll tell me stories about growing up, but he's not going to sit down with me like a therapist and be like, you know, when I was growing up, I felt like
you
my
undercover.
mom did this, or my dad did that,
you
and
hiding.
here's how it affected
hiding
my
at the top.
development, like, he's
What
not
the
going to
fuck?
talk to me like that, right? So I do know him. I know him really well, and I can observe his dynamic with his family and hear
Is anyone
stories.
that speaks
So
from
that's,
here?
like,
They can't
how
tell.
you get to know
Yeah.
him, man. It's not going to be like
And no
he's
one's
gonna
gonna
sit
report
down
it 'cause
on
they
the
can't-
phone
didn't
for
see
4
it.
hours and pour out his heart necessarily.
Let's have
Maybe
ways.
some guys do that. Maybe it works for
No,
some
you can't.
people, but
Ways.
Andrew is like,
Because
he is a pretty
unless
stoked guy.
someone
He's
reported
the
it
same
in
guy
Waze
at
or
home
Google
that
Map.
he is on the
Ah.
show.
Yeah.
The difference is
Otherwise-
that he never has to
Because normally they just
have the same
park here or
dynamic with
something,
me that he
or
has with you guys
oh yeah,
because
or right
it's a
here,
different relationship.
and then
Number
just
one,
get the
I'm,
camera
like,
ready.
pretty smart,
But
to
no,
be honest.
but this
so
one just hiding.
he feels like
at
we're
the
on the
top.
same level, and I'm really respectful. I'm very submissive.
Are
I
you
don't
implying that we're stupid?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you are stupid. I'm saying that it tends to be the case that a lot of the young ladies who come on here are not like, so Andrew's like a logician. He knows philosophy, he knows history, he's like a really, really, really smart guy. And so sometimes there's a little bit of a mismatch there, and the girls will take what he says wrong because they think he's talking down to them when all he's doing is talking how he normally talks. So he and I don't have that like discrepancy. I'm like, also, I write books and I'm pretty educated and stuff like that. So I just think we're like on the same level and we have similar communication styles. So we don't have the same issue. Like, I don't take offense easily either. If he tells me,
finally.
oh man, I really, like if I
Keep
got
hearing
banged once and he was like, really don't like the bangs, babe. Like you're very
Those
pretty,
muffled
don't like the
lip
bangs.
monkeys
I'm
is
just like,
like-
okay, no problem. He doesn't like the bangs, we'll grow out the bangs. Whereas a lot of women I think would like cry and get very upset and it would be like a whole issue, and it's just not for me. So as far, I'm just saying like personality wise, we match up pretty well that way for the most part.
Noted. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, don't sit there like victims. If you're willing to dish it out, bangs, you gotta be willing to take it. You can't sit there and call him wrinkly and old and insult him first, and then if he goes, yeah, well, you know, looks like you've gained some weight since the last time you've been here, says something like that. It's like, what do you expect him to say?
That's
You
equal
knew what he was
quality.
gonna say if you said something like that to him. So
But I'm not getting mad at him when he says
60, yeah?
anything. I literally just laugh and I smile and
it's okay.
nod my
I mean,
head.
if you're
And that's like, I don't know, do you guys want me to get mad or what reaction are you, what reaction is he looking for then? Because it's obviously not good enough just smiling and nodding my head when he calls me fat.
He's not looking for reaction. I wanted to come on because if you say now to me, now that I'm here, like, oh, it doesn't really bother me. I just give it back and we do the back and forth. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like to give him some shit and you don't mind if he gives you some shit back, there's no problem with that.
I
But
don't.
what you can't do is give him shit and then go, he gave me shit back.
Girl, no one did that. No one did that.
You said, I wonder how, I feel sorry for your wife, and you don't have to feel sorry for me. I have a great husband. He's
Perfect.
a really brilliant guy, a really entertaining guy. He is a very handsome guy, too.
Awesome. Awesome. I
Not
don't know.
y'all are blind, but
I don't know why you have to come on here and defend it for us. If you were secure,
Because
were
you
secure,
said,
you wouldn't have said
you felt
anything.
sorry for me. So I'm just letting you know, you don't have to feel sorry. I couldn't be more blessed to have the husband that I have, which honestly, I feel like I'm punching above my weight a little bit being married to this guy, but so don't feel sorry for me. I'm doing just fine. I'm very happy. Wouldn't want to be with anybody else. And he's a great dad. We have 4 daughters. He's a great dad. Super nice dad. Really, really caring. But our kids also are really well behaved. They don't give him a bunch of shit and they don't give him a bunch of attitude. And if they did, they'd hear it from me before they heard it from him, because I would never allow them to disrespect him. So we have a very healthy, like, good family dynamic. And people seem to think that it's weird for parents to have boundaries or for spouses to treat each other respectfully, I guess. I don't know what you guys think is the problem.
I just mean personally have never had a grown man talk to me that way. So
Well,
it's
that's
just
the
shocking.
problem. See, that's the problem. You are used to giving people
Trying to
shit
reduce them.
and attitude and you think you have free license to insult people or have a sassy attitude, and that because you have your big boobies pushed up, the men aren't gonna say anything.
Girl,
and Andrew,
do you think
Andrew is 40 and married, and he doesn't give a shit, so he's gonna give it right back to you. And if all men were that way, you wouldn't have the attitude you have.
Okay, I don't act like this outside of here. This is all for show. What is okay, girl?
Well, if that's the case, then I don't know what the problem is.
Me either. I don't know what you decided you wanted to come on here and have a chat with
Oh,
me. So
fuck that voice,
Yeah,
man.
because you invoked me a couple of times. A couple different times now you've made comments about, oh, your wife, you talk to your wife this way. I feel bad for her. I can't believe you have a wife when you act like this. And it's like, if you know the nature of the show, and this is all for show,
I was laughing.
then there shouldn't be a problem. There's
Snoring.
been plenty of women on this show, by the way, who Andrew has been
not
super
worried.
nice to, has gotten along
Snoring.
with great. The only time he gives
not
women
worried.
shit is if they give him shit
Snoring.
first. If they come
Snoring.
on with an attitude, if they act
Huh?
entitled,
Okay,
things like that.
snoring.
Then yeah, he's going to match
I
your
didn't say you're
energy.
worried.
Oh, they said don't worry.
All right, everybody, who's ready for a little bit of prove me wrong disagreement? And I brought Vivek Ramaswamy up.
What's this?
Big fans. You're
You like him
you
or
and
no?
Becky were ran for president, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just great. I've got a question I think has been on everybody's minds a lot. I really speak for the people here. I just want to say, like, what do y'all think? Unlimited bacon or no games, or unlimited games, no games, but no games?
All right, next question.
Next?
Trolls, trolls
Actually,
will not be
trying to-
tolerated. Thank you very much. You know, yep.
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Have a good one. Can I
Oh,
have a
you know
hat?
it's
No,
troll.
yes. Thank you.
Charlie, you've stated that you're not into criminalizing the mother for an abortion. Why is that? Like, how can we make a law that has no consequences?
Well, there's two parts to this, right? The first of which is no person should advocate for retroactive enforcement of something that was once legal to then make illegal. We can agree with that, right?
Right.
No matter what the law is, you cannot claw back. For example, if all of a sudden the government says you can't have a public assembly like this, and that is effective tomorrow, they can't go back today and put us all in prison, right? So that's